Welcome to the More We Know channel. Imagine this. You're just driving home, minding your own business, and boom, the road ahead of you is literally wiped out by a collapsing mountain. Or you step out of your apartment in Kathmandu, ready to head to work, and realize, wow, I actually need a boat today, not my bike. Well, right now, monsoon-triggered Bahi, that's floods, and Pahiro, landslides, are just wreaking absolute havoc across Nepal. Today we're going to break down this nationwide highway emergency and figure out exactly why our biggest city is suddenly drowning in just ordinary rain.
19. Let that sink in for a second. That is the staggering number of major highways, our vital Rajmargas that are currently paralyzed by landslides. And look, we aren't just talking about a few minor detours here, across the Koshi and Bagmati provinces. No, we're talking about absolutely critical lifelines. The Mechi, the Mid-Hill, and the Prithvi highways, they're either completely blocked off or they're barely surviving on just one-way traffic. It's a massive, massive disruption.
So it is literally a desperate race against time right now. The Department of Roads has deployed a whopping 155 pieces of heavy machinery. We're talking dozers, excavators, loaders, you name it, sent directly into massive disaster zones like Jawankola and Rajdwali, and they've got over 100 more on standby. These crews are out there working around the clock trying to clear out literal mountains of debris.
Now, we kind of expect steep mountain roads to be vulnerable during the monsoon, right? But what about the capital? Why does standard, ordinary monsoon rain completely paralyze the entire Kathmandu Valley? I mean, just think about it. A few hours of drizzle shouldn't turn places like Kalanki or Maitigar into a literal water park. It's stalling out vehicles, flooding ground floor shops. It's just chaos. So what exactly is going on here?
Well, the answer actually changes how we need to think about urban floods entirely. There's a term for it. It's called pluvial flooding. See, when Kathmandu floods today, the rivers aren't necessarily overflowing their banks. Instead, the heavy rainwater pouring down from the sky simply has nowhere to go. It hits the solid asphalt, it obviously can't soak in, and bam, it instantly turns our roads into temporary rivers.
And honestly, it's a pretty dark, ironic reality. Kathmandu used to act like this giant natural sponge. It was full of paddy fields, ponds, and wetlands that safely stored all that rainwater underground. But you know, in our rush to modernize, we somehow treated concrete as the ultimate sign of progress. We literally paved over the soil, we filled in the ancient ponds, and we completely destroyed the very natural sponge that used to soak up the monsoon for us. Because here is the thing. A city is a living system where soil, rivers, and people all have to work together. And by totally ignoring this fact, we've stripped Kathmandu of its natural resilience. Instead of natural streams doing the work, we're relying on these tiny, undersized drains that are completely choked with plastic waste. And guess what happens when water's natural course is blocked by concrete? It just makes a new path. And unfortunately, that new path is usually right through our living rooms. So, how do we fix it? Well, we desperately need a new strategy. Enter the global sponge city concept. This is something that's already proven to work in places like Singapore. Basically, this means we need to restore our local ponds, expand our urban green spaces, reclaim encroached floodplains, and honestly, we need to make rainwater harvesting absolutely mandatory in new buildings. The big takeaway here is that we have to design our city to actually make room for water rather than constantly trying to fight it. Because right now, nature is simply taking its space back, whether we like it or not. And with climate change bringing shorter but much more intense bursts of rainfall, the water is always going to find a path. So it leaves us with a massive question to think about. Will Kathmandu finally learn to live with water and restore its natural sponge, or are we just going to stubbornly keep fighting the laws of nature, sitting around waiting for the next disaster?